The steering committee for the scientific program of Expo 2015 was launched by the European Commission together with the European Parliament and the Council. The purpose of this steering committee is to contribute to the legacy of Expo. And what we would like to do as the member of this steering committee is to prepare a clear-cut and realistic research program. What can be the contribution of Europe to the most burning question of our times, feeding the planet, energy for life.
L'alimentation est quelque chose qui pose beaucoup de questions à la recherche, à la fois sur le plan de le mécanisme biologique, mais aussi de la compréhension de tous les facteurs d'environnement, au sens des sciences humaines et sociales, qui influencent la façon dont les personnes s'alimentent, en posant des problèmes qui sont de deux ordres en réalité, de ce qu'on appelle le double fardeau, à savoir que l'ensemble des pays sont confrontés d'une part à des problèmes de sous-alimentation par manque d'accès approprié à une nourriture qui peut exister mais qui n'est pas accessible pour des raisons souvent d'ordre économique, politique, et en particulier dans les pays pauvres et les pays en voie de développement, et des problèmes qui sont liés à la suralimentation, une alimentation trop énergétique et pas appropriée par rapport à son contenu nutritionnel dans les populations les plus riches, comme celles qu'on peut rencontrer dans les pays occidentaux. Et parfois, ce double fardeau, on le constate dans des pays qui sont en transition sur le plan économique et sur le plan du mode d'alimentation, des pays en développement qui ont à la fois des gens sous-nutris et des gens trop alimentés sur le plan énergétique et avec consommation excessive de lipides liés à la consommation de certains produits.
One-third of the food produced globally is going to waste every year. In Europe alone, this is 90 million tons of food, so it is a lot of food. How can we reduce this amount of food waste? In developing countries, the crop harvesting and storage generates a lot of waste. In Europe and in other developing countries, developed countries, the situation is different. Here, consumers have a crucial role in reducing the waste. So what can we do? Consumers should be educated in how to read the packagings of food, the labels, what does this expire by or best by dates mean? Is it still safe to eat the foods after that or not? Should it be thrown away? And then we of course generate a lot of surplus food in restaurants, in shops, in cafeterias. How to deal with that? We already have food banks in Europe, but of course we should minimize this generation of this surplus material. One important player here is food industry. They can do a lot. They have a lot of technologies. They can improve the quality and shelf life of foods. They can develop packaging that increases the shelf life of food and improve the logistics and other things as well. The last thing is that we eventually always generate some food waste, so what to do with that? Can we recover important nutrients? Can we use it as animal feed materials? Or should we use it as energy? So there are a lot of things that we can do to reduce this food waste.
Currently, there are basically two developments. First of all, the quality systems of the companies are becoming more strict, and therefore this increases the quality of the products in the end, the safety of the products. But at the same time, you see that the transporting of food products and food ingredients all over the world is becoming more complex. Therefore, as a result of these complex logistics, we need to find innovative approaches to, in the end, certify that the product that we buy in the shops is a safe product and of known and controlled quality. So we need to have good systems in place for the traceability of products, but also of ingredients of products. And at the same time, we need analytical tools to make sure that in the end, what's on the label in a particular product, we can actually check for the content of this label. So we need analytical approaches to make sure that we can confirm what's on the label, or indeed identify that something may be wrong with the label.
The international trade for food and agricultural product is growing fast, faster than world production. That is good because it facilitates the exchange of goods in the world where they are needed and where they are produced. We call this comparative advantage. But we also need to watch out that this trade, from which Europe, by the way, benefits a lot. We import more foods than we export, is rule-based, balanced, and fair. So we need free and fair trade in order to exploit the benefits of trade. Research needs to add knowledge on how we deal with speculation so that this doesn't hurt poor people, how we deal with standards, so that consumers know what foods and agricultural products come from where and have had what footprints on the environment. So trade is basically a good part of globalization if it's rule-based, if it's fair, and if it's free.
$450 milioni di piccoli agricoltori e di pescatori sostengono l'alimentazione per ben 2 miliardi di persone nel mondo. Quasi un terzo della popolazione mondiale vive in condizioni di difficoltà grazie all'attività di questi agricoltori, di questi operatori, che sono soprattutto donne. Quindi per cercare di affrontare questi problemi è indispensabile occuparsi delle donne, aiutarle ad acquisire più potere decisionale e soprattutto dare alle donne il diritto pieno della proprietà della terra. Credo che sia indispensabile anche sostenere la formazione del capitale umano e soprattutto quello che ci viene chiesto molto spesso è di aiutare a fare un trasferimento di tecnologie che siano appropriate per questi paesi in via di sviluppo.
To produce more food in the future, we need to save the natural capital in our agriculture. And to preserve our soils is one of the key issues. And to preserve soils, we need to consider the soil biodiversity and diversity above ground. And that we can see as an investment in the natural capital. And by investing in the natural capital, we can reduce fertilizer rates, pesticide rates, and we can also produce more crops. So instead of intensifying by using more pesticide and fertilizers, we need to have an investment bank for our natural capital.
Farmers don't just provide food. They manage the very environment on which the humankind survives, and this means the biodiversity, nature, life on Earth, and that provides lots of services like pollination of plants, cleaning up water and so on. And so this stewardship of land is a very important function of farmers, and this is one of the challenges, to give farmers the right signals to both produce the food but also to produce what we call the ecosystem services that come from nature that farmers are managing. And related to that point is that we nowadays recognise, especially in Europe, that farmers also provide many services to the general public in addition to food, like tourism. People love going to the countryside for recreation, for sports, for climbing, walking, cycling, canoeing, and it's farmers who are managing the environment and the landscape in which that takes place. And the very fact that a lot of our history is wrapped up in cuisine, in dress, in architecture, in village structures, these are things that people value. And so rural development is looking at how you can get profitable farming, producing food, alongside farmers that can make a living also from providing these other services to society. Getting that balance turns out to be quite difficult, and this is what we're suggesting we need a lot more research on.
The challenges that food security poses for us are huge over the next decades. Simultaneously, we have to tackle the challenges to improve economic health, but also importantly public health and environmental health. And this requires that we do research in a different way, a new way, in a transdisciplinary way, working interdisciplinary between disciplines and out from disciplines into the public arena. That means that there's a really important role in trying to get knowledge out from individual academic silos into use, communicating to the public, communicating to end users and a whole range of different disciplines. And this provides a whole range of